As a fourth-generation family-owned civil contractor, Goodfellow Brothers has nurtured a culture of innovation, safety, and quality with a long history of work in the greater Pacific Northwest.
Well, presently we're in Oregon, Washington, California, and the Hawaiian Islands. And previously have been in Alaska, Canada, Montana, Idaho. So with the company dating back to 1921, they've been in a lot of the Pacific Northwest.
On a windswept ridge overlooking the Tucannon River in Washington state, Goodfellow Brothers is building 40 miles of new road and preparing 116 sites for wind towers and turbines. Renewable Energy Systems Americas, or RES, is managing the $500 million wind farm project with a strong focus on safety. With Zonar's fleet and equipment tracking platform, Goodfellow Brothers provides RES with transparent visibility into site safety and performance for all of its equipment, including equipment defects, engine fault code activity, vehicle locations, speeds, and engine hours.
One of the ways that I comply with RES, they need to see inspection daily on this equipment. They also need to know speed on these roads. They're very big on that. By doing this, I give them access to my website on this job. They can go in there and monitor our equipment any time of the day, any time of the night. They can see who was doing what, make sure all the inspections are in, what might be noted as a repair. They absolutely love it.
Zonar's idle, speed, and PTO activity reports help Goodfellow Brothers increase safety and reduce unnecessary fuel costs. In fact, Goodfellow Brothers immediately realized $54,000 in fuel savings annually through speed and idle reduction with Zonar, while reducing their fuel tax liability.
We've cut idled fuel down, huge amounts of idled fuel, just by making people aware of idling over 10 minutes.
That's been a very useful tool in determining anything with a PTO. On it, you get a fuel tax credit, even if you're on a highway. It doesn't matter if you're off-road or not. So that's enabled our accounting department to monitor how many hours and get credit back on our taxes for state and federal tax on fuel.
At the RES site, each tower pad has to be completed according to a tight timeline so that crews can continue their work and keep the project on schedule. Zonar's high-definition fleet GPS data and the battery-powered Z-Track equipment tracking devices help Goodfellow keep the location of their high-value assets in focus and increase overall utilization, while also increasing safety and reducing liability and risk.
It has definitely helped. It's also helped in reporting of incidences that never occurred, because when you have a pickup with your name on the door and you're in high visibility areas, sometimes people will call in and say that our pickup damaged their pickup in the parking lot or whatever, and through the path information on the Zonar, we can tell that that vehicle was never there. So some people are concerned about Big Brother, especially employees, and it really helps the employee sometimes exonerate himself of being in a situation that never happened.
The fellows came to work one morning on a project we were doing there, North-South Road, and they noticed that one of their new labor trucks had been missing. And that was when we first, Zonar was fairly new to us at the time, and we got some phone calls, and we were able to do the path report. And we got the Oahu Police Department contacted with them, and we traced the vehicle to a particular address where it had parked for about an hour and a half. Then it went to another address. And so the Oahu Police Department went kind of out to these areas and looked around and knocked on a door and asked the fellow what was in his backyard underneath the tarp.
On their heavy equipment, Goodfellow Brothers uses Zonar's ruggedized V3R telematics control unit. The V3R captures all the same information gathered from the rest of the equipment used at the site and puts it into the same reports in Zonar's web-based software, Ground Traffic Control.
V3R is exceptional, especially on this, and this is my prime project for the V3R that I really rolled it out on, because my cell coverage up here is spotty. With the V3R on some of the older systems, it just wasn't, I wasn't making good connection. I wasn't getting my information. Now installing the V3R, all of these machines on these hilltops are all reporting. Most important is the install time. It's cut my install time down on a piece of heavy equipment probably in half. I'm able to do an install on a new dozer, a D6 or a D8 in about an hour and a half.
Zonar puts the right information into the hands of the right people at the right time, even when the right time means real time, eliminating slow, manual, error-prone processes and improving safety, efficiency, and overall return on investment.
Before Zonar, there's been several methods tried, and it was always the either verbal by the operator. If he had a complaint or a problem with his machine, he would tell the foreman, and the foreman would try to tell the maintenance personnel, or we tried the handwritten card where the operators would write it down, but that it seems like the information never really got to where it needed to be, and that was with the maintenance people who are going to end up doing the repairs.
Goodfellow Brothers captures visual inspection information with Zonar's Electronic Vehicle Inspection Report System, or EVIR. With this patented, verified inspection system, small RFID tags are placed at critical inspection zones around the equipment. Using Zonar's 2010 inspection tool or 2020 tablet, operators read each tag and indicate the condition of all the components within each zone.
A lot of the new machinery over the years, people have kind of forgotten about the walk-around inspection, looking for the loose bolts and those kind of things. Getting that information from the operator to the office, that was always a hard deal. You know, you'd fill out the little slips of paper or whatever, and getting it back to the shop so that we could schedule repairs was tough. With Zonar now, we've been able to overcome that. That information that the operator sees, anything, loose bolts, broken oil leaks, that kind of stuff, automatically goes into our main office in Wenatchee.
With the inspection process and the handheld passing across each zone tag, we know that that operator was actually there in that zone, and hopefully he inspected that zone and did the things that we require for him to look at, so that we keep him safe and the job safe and the equipment up and running, which eventually is what makes us profitable, is at the end of the day is moving a yard of dirt or putting a foot of pipe in the ground.
One big thing it's done is one of the tough things with filling out a piece of paper or an operator saying, hey, the bolts are loose or the window's cracked, and getting it back to the shop to get it repaired. In the past, that would get lost. So an operator, you know, basically, you know, I've told this foreman 3 times that my window's broke. Now it goes directly to our maintenance department in Wenatchee, where they schedule the work out. It's giving the operator a voice.
By connecting the drivers and equipment operators with maintenance and management, Goodfellow Brothers is able to address important repairs quickly and prioritize non-critical repairs efficiently.
Yeah, so the biggest thing it did for us was it added information to our maintenance program, that as soon as there is a report of anything being deficient by the operator, we have all of our maintenance personnel have at least a smartphone, and most of our master mechanics, if we have a project where we have a master mechanic, then he has a laptop computer. So that information definitely gets transmitted to our maintenance personnel on the site. At the same time, it comes into our main office in Wenatchee. So what we do is we take a look at that. The guy on the ground first assesses if it's a red or whatever. We're responding and going to see what the problem is immediately. If it's not, then we prioritize our work based on what other priorities. Once a week we sit down with all of our people and we go through the open Zonar defects, and some of them are fixed immediately based on priority, and some of them we backlog, and then we address that future by ordering parts and making the repair.
The whole idea is to make scheduled repairs instead of things breaking, mechanics, what we call putting out fires, you know, just running from machine to machine. We try to schedule the repairs at the proper time so we aren't paying the overtimes and those kind of things. And that's what Zonar has really helped us with.
In addition to proactive maintenance management, electronic data also provides an organized way to retrieve historical information for process planning, trend reporting, and compliance.
It's enabled us to keep better track of our expiration dates on licenses, and especially on the equipment, as we've incorporated a crane inspection and DOT inspections on all of our highway vehicles are now recorded, and when we have DOT audits, the government organizations are much more favorable to see us being proactive.
Another thing that's really helped with on the DOT side is the DOT audits. We have the DOT audits, and we'll have an auditor come in and say, you know, this truck was crossed the scales in the state of Washington over here, and we found this and this wrong with it 6 months ago or 8 months ago. And he will ask, he says, I want to see the repair report. I want to see your mechanic's time card when that repair was made. Generally, some of these audits, I've sat through 3 of them in my history. Generally, an audit for Goodfellow took about 2.5 days. The last audit I sat into, I opened up the computer and I gave the fellow my computer and said, here's our repair report. And I think we were done in about 4.5 hours. Everything that we do at a maintenance standpoint from this machine, we do oil sampling, we keep full maintenance records, we keep all the Zonar records, all of the repair reports, which now are logged, you know, electronically into Zonar. When we take these machines, firms that we deal with like Ritchie Brothers auctioneers, when we pull machines out to Ritchie Brothers, we make all of those files available. When they go to sell a machine for us, if we trade one in, we have a buyer that's interested, he wants to see the history of this machine. And we can pull all of that history, we supply all of those history files to those buyers. So they can look and see what's been repaired, what we've done to it, who has done what, and so they know that they're buying a good used piece of machinery. When Goodfellow goes to an auction, prices go up. Ritchie Brothers has told us that because of our files, our systems.
The robust data collection and unique visual inspection capabilities from Zonar provide Goodfellow Brothers improved safety and transparency to their customers and regulatory agencies, demonstrating that they don't just talk about safety, they live it in everything they do. Utilizing Zonar's technology as a foundation, Goodfellow Brothers have become a subcontractor of choice for many companies, including RES Americas Construction.